And now we're going to talk about the wider impact of the potential Supreme Court ruling it could have on reproductive rights, particularly in Oklahoma, where the state's governor, Kevin Stitt, signed a new bill yesterday banning abortions after cardiac activity or a fetal heartbeat can even be detected. Dr. Eli Reshef, medical director of Integris Bennett Fertility Institute in Oklahoma City, joining me now with more. Doc, good to see you.
Good to see you, Kira.
Well, let's start with Governor Stitt, shall we, signing this so-called Oklahoma Heartbeat Act, which bans abortions around 6 weeks and also allows any private citizen to sue someone who performs an abortion, attends to perform an abortion, or helps a woman get an abortion. The only exception is being when the mother's life is in danger, but not for rape or incest. It's a bit complicated. What's your reaction to that?
Well, my concern, and I'd like to first give a disclaimer, I don't do abortions, and my opinion about abortion is irrelevant here. My main concern for the broader implications is for reproductive rights as it goes into in vitro fertilization, assisted reproductive technology, and also contraception. As somebody who's been doing it for 34 years, and for the last 20 years I've been fighting personhood legislation here in Oklahoma and all around, I can say that the broader implications are that reproductive rights are likely in this current atmosphere to be restricted more and more and more, and people may also restrict other reproductive rights, including the right to reproduce. And that's very important for myself. That's very, very important for my patients. If a legislation, if in Oklahoma laws, it says that an unborn child is from the moment of conception, including human conceptus, zygote, morula, blastocyst, and otherwise, this is what we deal with in the in vitro fertilization lab. And if it's extended there, then people's right to reproduce, which is probably one of the most hallowed rights of human beings, might be restricted.
Yeah, and I understand that personally. As that's, as you know, it was through IVF that I was able to have my twins. I can't even imagine not having my family. You know, you're one of 4 board-certified doctors that specializes in reproductive endocrinology and also infertility in all of Oklahoma. So, what will your practice look like if indeed Roe versus Wade is overturned?
Well, I do not foresee any major changes unless people extend the overzealousness extends to creating personhood rights, in which case my practice would be very different. I won't be able to practice in vitro fertilization. I'd like to be an optimist and say, hopefully, regardless of what happens to Roe v. Wade, it's not going to be extended to personhood. But as somebody who personally have fought personhood laws in Oklahoma for the last 20 years, I can say that it comes up every year. And every year it becomes more and more difficult to defeat personhood that looks at the human embryo as a person that has the same rights as you and I, which has serious implications about what happens in the IVF lab, what happens to physicians when any harm perceived to an embryo or unborn child is criminalized. And then, of course, that will definitely change the fabric of my practice and limit patients to access.
Right. And, you know, since Texas enacted its strict abortion ban in September in 2021, a lot of women have traveled to Oklahoma for care, for all types of care. Now that these new restrictions are moving through your state legislature, you know, what options, Doc, do these women now have?
Well, more and more they have restricted options. They can go north still to Kansas. They can cross the border to Canada. Mexico has decriminalized abortions. So the problem there is not, I think when abortions are to be done, they will be done, whether legally or illegally, whether it requires great expense or travel, or whether it's done in back alleys. Abortions have been there, abortion will stay there. And the question is, how much more can we make it difficult for people to have a decision that they made about their body, and make it more difficult for people with lower means to control their own bodies.
Dr. Eli Reshef, I sure appreciate your time. And of course, we will follow what happens in Oklahoma and talk more about the future of your practice and what you do. You create a lot of beautiful families. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.